As the old saying goes, for every life that has a beginning must have an end. But I say to you, there is no end without a beginning. There is no journey without a home. For life is a maze of decisions, full of crossroads. And if you wish to seek an end to your journey, you must know where your first imprint lies. For when you are lost and full of indecision, a reflection in a muddy pool of water is more clearer than an extravagant palace of mirrors. Hello everyone, this is the Holy Hermit, and I welcome you all to a budget guide video of mine. This time we'll be gearing up our monk for Monster Power 3, a place where we can all farm safely. If you're starting this game new, you've reached level 60, this video will try to answer all the questions that you have on how to play the game. But if you are a veteran at the game already but are looking for a new upgrade, how to get the next best piece of gear, I will try to answer the same question for you, but my answer will be slightly expensive. Expensive on your pockets, that is. You'll be spending a little more gold to get better item. So we start off by quite simply looking at the philosophy of the build. Everyone tells you to get high DPS, that's what they all go for, but your dear friend Hermit will give you a different idea. My goal in the video is for you to be able to survive on a decent monster power. It shouldn't be a glass cannon build, that is not the job of monks. We go for balance, like everything else in life. So the first thing we all need to balance is the ratio of our armor and resist all. Too low and we die too quickly. Even high DPS on high monster power wouldn't guarantee your survival, but balancing these stats will. So your armor, in my humble opinion, if you play on higher monster powers or you're starting up, the ratio of armor and resist all should be 10:1. So if you have 4000 armor, you need 400 resist all. For our build, we'll try to aim our armor around somewhere from 4.5k. Resist all would be over 500. Anything above than that is always a bonus. Critical hit chance and damage is another thing which follows a similar trend. You need 10:1 ratio. If you have 10% critical hit chance, your critical hit damage should be 100. You get the idea now, don't you? So the items I'm buying right now are for a character who's just reached level 60, but the philosophy will stay the same if you are on higher monster powers, or on higher level yourself. So, first question is choosing a resist. Monks use a thing called one with everything, where your resistances can quite simply double the amounts of any other character in the game. So choosing one is quite important. You can go for any one. My normal monk you see in the other videos is a lightning monk. It has a more of a personal attachment to it, no other reason why, but I will give you a better suggestion today. Two suggestions, that is. If you wish to gear up your monk initially, the two resistances to go after should be poison or fire resistance. The reason being, if you choose power poison, you get to buy an helm. Probably the strongest helm in the game, in my humble opinion, is Andariel's Visage. It gives you attack speed, it gives you critical hit chance, and decent dexterity. Overall, it's a strong helm. If you want to go for fire resist, you can buy things like Cinder Coat, and you can stack them with Firewalkers to give you extra fire defense. These two legendaries can be incorporated in your build to give you a slight little edge when you start the game. We chose poison resistance, hence the Andariel's helm. The budget I'm going for right now is only 1.5 million. A measly number, but it will get you to a decent amount of DPS and, more importantly, an amazing survival stats that will help you to survive even on higher monster powers. So all these items I bought, I had one specific thing in common. I went for double resistance in most of the gear equipment. As far as chest armor and pants go, I tried to get sockets in them. I chose double resistance, as in one being poison, other being the main resistance, all resistance that is. Pieces like shoulders have a life percentage to them. Items that do grant me DPS are gloves and braces. Also the helm. They will cost you a little bit more than your normal gear pieces, so I try to get critical hit chance on them, as monk benefit a lot more from these abilities than they do from anything else. A little bit of attack speed can also help you. The weapons we can go for, as I showed you that I'm buying in the video, we have two choices as a monk. You can go for a Diablo, the old traditional slow way, or you can go for dual wielding. If you want to farm on lower monster powers, if you want to just start the game, my humble suggestion would be to go for a Diablo. They are very cheap and you can get great stats from them. But if you wish to dual wield in the game, you can add a little bit more to your budget, $1 million or so maybe, and you'll be able to do the same thing that you are doing with a two-handed weapon. The choice is yours really, they both work very well. The good thing about gearing up a character right now is by the addition of the new armor pieces, the new crafting recipes that is, price of armors have gone down. So you see me buying the normal equipment, the chest armor, shoulder, pants even, they all don't cost a lot. The main chunk of money is being spent on rings, amulet and the weapons themselves. If you want to go for a two-hander, that price is even lower. So the rings I'm going for, they have critical hit chance and damage on one of them, and the other one boasts life on hit, attack speed and some critical hit chance. Same thing applies to our amulet really. We are going for a bit of attack speed and a very small amount of critical hit chance. You can get vitality on them, well and good. If you can get armor even, that's even better. Everything in the game is about balance, especially for monks. So follow the ways that I've found these items in the game. You've seen me do in the auction house and you'll find a good deal for yourself. So, we move into the stats now, the one you've seen me show already. I'm using a Diablo right now, but as far as the balance philosophy goes, everything is very balanced at the moment. Our critical hit chance is around 30%. Our damage then is around 300%. We have a small amount of life on hit and a decent amount of life steal. We also have some life regeneration. Our attack speed is also balanced to a certain extent. In all, the character works very well. The DPS also is a decent amount. 35k is good enough to clear up to Monster Power 3, and thanks to the changes in the new patch, our wave of light is ever so deadly no matter how much DPS we have, because 800% of even 35k is quite a big number. So, you see me using a two-handed weapon. As I recommended, it is a good way to go about it. It is cheap, it helps you to do things a lot quicker when you're doing Tempest Rushing, because the spirit is always generated. If you wish to know more, you can look at another one of my videos where I explain how the Tempest Rushing works, your main way of farming XP. The same thing could be applied to dual wielding, but in that case we'll be choosing life on hit. Quite simply, the reason being, buying items in the beginning having life on hit is a lot cheaper than buying ones with lifesteal. So you see me playing on Monster Power 0 right now, and I am using the Tempest Rush build. The DPS is good enough. I can one-hit all the mobs, and elites also don't stand a chance. But that's not where our whole idea lies. We are going to move to Monster Power 3 now, and we're going to look at the same thing, the same principle of Tempest Rushing. We will use the same build on this Monster Power. No blinding flash, no combination strike to increase our DPS. We're going with the same idea, same philosophy, yet we still do good on these Monster Power because our stats are balanced. So to answer the second part of my question, for my friends who have a good geared monk already, where to go from there? If you have reached a high enough DPS, what's the next step? My question would be, is your armor and resist all balanced? Is your critical hit chance and damage balanced? More importantly, have you got some spirit regen in your gear? All these questions and more you have to take into consideration. Like I would always say, it's always about balance with your character. DPS is well and good, but to have an overall balanced character, that is quite an amazing thing to have. So if you wish to upgrade your gear, my humble suggestion would be to have your armor around 5500 and your resist all to be 550. Have about 4 to 5% of life leech and a bit of life on hit on it if you can as well. Have a high amount of attack speed, somewhere over 2 is good enough. These are the little stats that you will be after if you want to take your character to the next limit. Your DPS can suffer a little bit, or it can get slightly more as well. It's all about how much budget you have, but that is another part of the game that we don't care that much about. It's about how good you can understand the character, how unique you can make your character from the person next to you. So try and follow the same tips I have in this video. Try to go for decent armor. Try to go to a decent amount of resist all, your attack speed, and you're good to go. This is how we play as monks. A monk that doesn't rely on DPS for survival, but survives only because of his stoic resolve, and he does well on any monster power he wishes to play with. More importantly, he doesn't even rely on any passives or any other abilities. You put any skill onto him and he will do good. That is the true principle of a good monk. This was a video showing you how to gear up your monk when you start the game. I hope you liked this video of mine. If you wish to know more, if you still got questions about the build on how to gear your character, please feel free to ask me. To add everything up together, we found ways on how to gear up our monk when he reaches level 60, the kind of stats we are going after, choosing a specific resistance and sticking to it. We look at the armor and resist all ratio, the critical hit chance and the damage ratio, the kind of weapons you can go for and do okay. And we also understood a little philosophy today, and the idea was survival on any monster power irrespective of the damage you deal. A monk that can rely on nothing and everything at the same time and still do good, still seek balance in his own way. This has been the Holy Hermit for you. I hope you enjoyed this video of mine. Take care of yourself and have a nice day ahead. I'm out now. Bye.